Well, let's take a look at what is happening in the markets, and we start off with the local bourse. And of course, it seems that markets have taken a pause from the Santa Claus rally that we started seeing last month, reminding us that it is not a Christmas yet. So we do have the JSE sinking into the red today with a loss just shy of 1% there. We do have the Resources 10 complex carrying the bulk of those losses, shedding almost 2.5%, followed by the Financial 15 there with a loss of more than 0.5%, and the Industrial 25 down by almost a similar margin. Let's check in on what is happening on Wall Street, and on that front, it seems those markets are also continuing with the negative sentiment that we saw yesterday. Of course, markets are trying to figure out what the Fed could and should do in terms of monetary policy going forward. Of course, the market's still digesting the comments that came out of Fed Chair Jerome Powell on Friday, saying that monetary policy does still need to remain restrictive to ensure that inflation gets back to that 2% target. And of course, the Fed is also in its blackout period right now. That is before its policy meeting, last policy meeting for the year next week. Mostly red on that front, with the tech-heavy Nasdaq being the only one backing that trend. They're up by 0.25%. The S&P 500 declining more than 0.1%, and the Dow leading those losses, shedding 0.4%. Let's take a look at what is happening across the Atlantic. Those markets are seeming to be mixed on that front, undecided as to which direction really to go. But we have seen the FTSE 100 going into the red direction, declining by 0.6%. In the green there, the CAC 40 up 0.56%, and the DAX up by almost a similar margin. Let's take a look at the currency scene and start off with how the rand is doing against some of the major currencies. And we are seeing some weakness there on the rand as it's knocking on that 19 rand level against the US dollar, now at 18 rand 97. Against the pound at 23 rand 95, and against the euro at 20 rand 53. Let's take a look at what is happening with the other currency pairs, starting off with the euro dollar at 1.08, pound dollar at 1.26, and the yen just below 147 against the US dollar.